Okay, I think it's working. Can anybody tell me if it's working now? Can anybody hear me? It's working now? Can anybody hear me? It's working now? Okay, so let's see here. Can you guys hear me though? I need to know if you can hear me. I don't know about an echo. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me without the echo? Okay. So let's see here. Alright. Sorry guys. Well, you two seem to be the only one who appear to be on, so I don't know. We're gonna try probably maybe do maybe an hour. I guess of course it depends on how many other people show up. You know what I mean? Okay. Alright. So Haley and Jen, hello, how are you guys? I seem to be doing okay, considering this is my first time actually trying to do this, so I had no idea what I was doing. So, anyway. Hello, third person who joined. I don't let me know who you are when you first get in here. So at least I know who else. So I can at least tell who else comes in. All right. Okay. All right. See if anybody else decides to show up. And hey, if you guys got friends you think you would want to be here for this, let them know, okay? Let them know. Let them know to come over. You know. Okay. So I guess since this just might be the four of us, or whoever decides to join later, is there anything you guys wanted to ask me about or get help with? Okay, so helping with show and not tell. Like, what do you mean by that, Jen? Okay, in writing, let me see. Well, I guess it depends on the situation. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, definitely want to be careful about how much details you give because you can get overly detailed, for sure. So, I guess the best thing to do would be to sort of picture it in your mind first, and then I guess in a way would be like, how would you describe it to someone that you want them to see, you know? Figure out, you would describe it as a way as if you're trying to tell someone else about it, you know, but not giving too much, but without giving a whole lot of details, just trying to figure out which details are the most important to convey, sort of, you know. So just let me think. Just picture it out in your head first, and then try to describe it in a way as if you were telling it to somebody in person, you know, but without having, but picking out the right which details you wanted to use. Do I ever get writer's block? Yeah, sure. I mean, like any good writer, you know, it's always the dreaded writer's block is always hard to overcome. A lot of that, a lot of times, it's just trying to work through it, you know, and sometimes it's hard for your brain to focus on something, especially when it's something that you really don't feel like doing at that moment, you know. So I guess the best thing to do about that is to usually what I try to do is when I'm trying to start when I try to start writing something or pick it up with it, and here's how I deal with it. Um, I think the environment you write in is very important. So you need to find a place where you're free of distractions and you're free of outside influences, where you can just be alone with your thoughts and your writing materials, whatever that may be, your computer, laptop, pen and paper, whatever you use. Um, just try to find a place where you can be by yourself, and there's nothing around you that would distract you. And just kind of, I would recommend maybe a few breathing exercises just to kind of help clear your mind and center yourself for a few minutes. Just kind of help you get used to help you get into the mindset of where you want to go. And a lot of times it can be hard to just to get something started, you know, to get something going. So what I like to do is when I'm writing a story and I'm at a point where I have no idea where I wanted to go, or I have no idea what I want to say next, I just reread what I've written before, and a lot of times that can help me figure out, okay, where the story is going to go next. So it's you just have to find something that works best for you, and I wouldn't try to force yourself too much, because you could probably stress yourself out trying to get something done, I mean, but there are times where you do have to kind of just sit by yourself and just say, okay, I'm getting this done. I'm going to take care of this right here, right now, and just do as much as you feel like you think you can, and it's just one of those things where you have to find out what works best for you personally. I mean, that what I just described is kind of how I personally handle it. What works for me may not work for someone else, but you just never know. You just have to figure out what works best for you to help you get yourself going. So again, the environment you are trying to write in really helps. So just find you a place where you're free of any and all kind of distractions, where you can just focus on what it is you're trying to write. Does that make sense? All right. Okay. Excuse me. I'm a little tired. Do I plan my stories, or do I just go with the flow and write whatever comes to mind? A bit of both, really, I think. Sometimes I do get an idea for something, and I try my best to just kind of jot it down a little bit here and there if I have the time. And usually oh, sometimes I have an idea of where I want the story to go, but I don't always know how to get there. You know what I mean? Because there's some of my stories where I know how I want it to end, but I need to figure out how to get there first. So I may figure out. So as long as I have an idea on where I'm going to end, I think figuring out the process of how to get there kind of will come eventually. It's a matter of just starting, and letting the story flow through on its own. I mean, I may have a general synopsis may pop into my head every once in a while, and I think, yeah, that might be fun to write. That might be fun to do. But it just depends on how much of a story I can develop from it. It all just really depends. So, yeah, you should plan a little bit, but not to the point where you're not letting yourself go with the flow of where the story could go. Because a lot of times you may plan the story to go one way, but as you're writing, it could go completely in a different direction that you had never thought possible it would go. Sometimes it's for the better. You just never know. Well, that is a trick question. That is a tough question because a lot of these things you can find ways to keep a story going. That's just the thing, especially when you're doing one shots. You know, you want to write it in a way that is kind of has a final point to it, but there's still a possibility of extending it beyond what it is you've written so far. So a lot of the times you just it's how you feel about it at the end, you know? It's how you feel it's how you feel like, did I say what I wanted to say in this? Did I tell the story that I wanted to tell in this particular sense, you know? So it's just a matter of you being comfortable with what you've told and how you've ended it, you know? Because having a bad ending to a good story is a great way to kill it. So it's just, and you can't really satisfy everybody because everyone's going to say, oh, you should continue this story. This is good. It's like, well, I could, but I feel like I would be, I don't know. It just, there's some stories that with the way you end it, I mean, it's just better to leave it where it is, you know? It's just, you write until you think you feel comfortable with how you've ended it, you know? And if you leave it open-ended enough where you think, I could continue this on, but in a different storyline, you know what I mean? It's just a matter of being comfortable with how you feel about the ending, you know? If you feel comfortable with how you've ended a story, then it's done. To you, at least. I mean, everyone else will probably say, oh, you should continue more, you should continue more. But ultimately, it's all about how you feel about it and how comfortable you feel with it, the way it ended. Haley, when you have many ideas for the same scene, how do you know which one to pick if you really like them all? Well, that's probably the same question that an editor for a movie would get, you know, because they probably would like all the scenes that they film too. But in this particular sense, you have to think about what's best for the story. You might like a particular scene that you've written for a story, but if it doesn't help the story along, or it's just like a blip out of nowhere within the story that doesn't really follow it, it's just something cute or funny or sad or serious or whatever the theme, however it is, if it doesn't fit in the overall tone of what it is of the story you're trying to tell, then that's a good indication that you need to leave it out. You could probably save it for another story later, you know? But again, if it doesn't fit in the overall tone of what it is you're trying to tell, and it doesn't help move the story along, then that's when you'll know to not include it, to leave it out and figure out something else and figure out what else fits. Well, that just depends on the details, honestly. You know, it just depends on the details. Yeah, that is a hard thing too, having the time, because I work during the day. I don't always have the time to devote to just writing, you know. It's just one of those things. And yeah, Haley has a good point. Writing them down for later is always a good way to just kind of keep that in mind for next time, you know. And a lot of times you just have to feel which ones are the best to go with, to expand upon, you know, because every story starts with an idea. It all starts with just a little line that you think, I could probably expand more on this, you know. So, but you also have to make time too. You know, time doesn't always come to you. You have to make the time to do it. So it's just one of those things where you either have the time or you don't. Yeah, because I've had many ideas for stories that I've either started or didn't, because it just didn't feel like it was the right time to write those, you know, or I didn't have the capacity to really devote a full to devote to giving it its due diligence, you know. So you just kind of have to feel through it and figure out for yourself. Alright, so here's what we're going to do now. Well, I can answer more questions later, but let's try something different here. Alright, now I use an iPad to do my stories. This is where a good majority of my stories are kept, because laptop is too big to carry around, too heavy. I mean, handwriting is fine and all. It's just that sometimes if you want to add a part to it, or you want to take something out, it's not always that easy and get really messy in the end. So that's why I like my iPad. So that's why I like my iPad, because I can delete things out really fast, and I can add on to it really quickly as well. So, all right. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay. So I know you guys know me from my miraculous ladybug writings. So, but I have done other fandoms too. Fairy Tail was one that I wrote a good bunch for as well. Most of those you can find on my fanfiction page. But yep. I've written a few for Fairy Tail. You just have to most of it you'll find on my fanfic page, Haley. So, okay. So I have, let's see here. Okay, there's one here. All right, there's one here that I had started, and it's actually a crossover too with a with another animated series. I'm sure you're familiar with it, with the Legend of Avatar: The Last Airbender. You know. And basically, this is set sort of like after. Haley, if you do get a chance to watch Avatar, you should. I mean, the Last Airbender is really good. I thought it was really cute. I really enjoyed it. I didn't watch Legend of Korra. Just never got around to it. But I do like the Last Airbender for sure. So, so what I've written here, it basically starts a few years after the show ended. It's that Aang and Co are older. They're adults now and everything. And basically, they decide they're heading into Fior. I guess you can kind of say that it's probably exists a few thousand miles away from where Fior is, beyond the sea, that kind of thing, So here's here's what this quick summary, or at least if I was putting this on fanfiction, this is what I would put in the summary description page part, whatever. So, make no mistake that the land of Fior is grand. Many towns and territories dot the landscape, but what lies beyond the borders remains a mystery to some. Only a few brave souls have ventured past the boundaries of Fior. But what happens when those from the outside venture in? So based on that, how do you feel about that? Yeah, I bet you do, Jen. I bet you do. Okay. So, let me see here. Yeah, definitely. That's kind of what that's supposed to be. So, let's see. Yeah, I can understand. Well, I guess the thing is I've been stuck on is well, the title of this is called The Art of Bending. And basically what I had in mind was to have Aang and Co teach a few of those in Fairy Tail how to be benders without using their magic. So like giving them a secondary way of fighting without having to tap into their magical reserves. Of course, the more I thought about it, it's like, wasn't that a little redundant or whatever? I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Does that doesn't sound too silly, would it? I already have the Fairy Tail Wizards picked out already. So So it's just a matter of doing the research and trying to figure out the best way to handle it, you know. And of course the reason that Aang and Co are there is because a certain someone in Zuko's family escaped and is causing trouble. Can you guys have a guess who that might be? Okay, well, for the mages, obviously Natsu would take fire. He would be under Zuko's tutelage. That would be interesting. That would be an interesting little thing, huh? For air, obviously it would be Wendy. Wendy and Aang, I think, would get along fairly well. With her being the Dragon Slayer for air, and Juvia would be for water, of course. She would make a good water bender. And now Earth was a little bit difficult because didn't know a lot. There were a lot of Earth-based magic users in Fairy Tail, so I decided to go ahead with Gajeel to be an Earthbender because he's metal, and Toph can do metal bending, so I think he'd probably be able to handle earth bending fairly well. I mean, but that's just my opinion. And having him and Toph butt heads would make some for some pretty fun dialogue. Wouldn't you think? I guess I can give you an example of how they would interact. Let me see here. Okay, hold on here. Okay, so let me know what you think of this exchange real quick. Now this is between Toph and Gajeel. Alright, well Jen, here, I'll describe Gajeel for you a little bit here. He's one of those tough guy types, you know, just very rough around the edges, you know. But he's a very ferocious fighter. I'm not too familiar with who Jorah is, and I wanted to use characters that most people would know of, or at least that I know of fairly well. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just me. Okay. So here's a little exchange that I wrote between Gajeel and Toph. Here. Enough with these dumb questions, yelled an impatient Toph. Where's this Iron Dragon person? It's our turn to fight. Easy there, Toph. This isn't supposed to be a real fight. Just a simple demonstration, okay?
so no reshaping entire continents, said Aang. Yeah, relax, Baldy, I'll go easy on him. Like I need you to go easy on me. Candid, dunderhead, I wasn't talking to you. Gajeel growled at the woman. She looked pretty frail, but she had a mouth. He figured this would be an easy fight as long as he used his iron magic. Hey, Shrimp! Toss me my iron block! Levy glared as she took a piece of iron and tossed it to him. However, it never made it to Gajeel, and it stopped in midair. What the? Thanks for the iron, smirked Toph as she reshaped it into a mallet and sent it straight to Gajeel's head. He dodged it thankfully, grabbed it, and took a few bites. So he eats iron, lamented Katara. Yes, just like how Natsu consumes Zuko's flame, said Aang. Iron Dragon Hammer! Gajeel came hard and fast at Toph, but at the very last second, she brought up a rock wall and sidestepped. She followed up with a few boulders that knocked Gajeel back. I can sense that you have iron piercings. I wonder how painful it would be getting them ripped out, grinned a sadistic Toph. Okay, Toph, I think you better stand down now, said Aang quickly to keep the situation from getting out of control. I'm just messing around. What is with this crazy chick? Gajeel said under his breath. Then a stone column sprang up, sending Gajeel flying. I heard that! How? Cried Levy. Oh, did I forget to mention that I'm blind? My other senses are quite sharp, grinned Toph. Oh, wow! Gajeel just got beaten by a blind old woman, said a laughing Natsu. He too had a stone column sprang up and sent him flying. I ain't old either! Yeah, I thought that was pretty fun. I like to write funny stuff. You know, my humor is pretty sarcastic in nature and very dry and kind of a passive aggressive type. You know, so anytime where I could utilize that bit of humor into what I'm writing, I try. You know, I like to be funny. I like to be funny. You see, it's always important to convey emotions through your writing, you know, because anybody can write I'm sad, or can tell or can write to say this person cried, you know, but is the descriptions you can give can help up the ante on the emotions. You know, you just kind of have to really using the right descriptive words when you're describing how someone's feeling is really important, especially when you're conveying sadness, you know, or happiness or love, you know. It's very important to remember that you really need to use more descriptive words when describing emotions, because saying someone is sad is too boring. You could probably describe how they're sad or why they're sad, you know. So there's that. Just I guess the only thing really is to figure out how to write the how they would teach the bending techniques, and that takes a lot of research, I've noticed. So I'm definitely going to have to consult a lot of Wikipedia pages on that subject, because I have just a basic knowledge of how that would work, you know. And care to take a guess at what reason why the
why Aang and company would try to come to Fior? Well, I'll put it to you this way. Zuko has a sister, and she kind of went a little off the rails towards the end of the show, and of course had to be locked up. What do you think would happen if she escaped? So that's kind of what I was going for there, in that regard. So it's still being developed. It's still being developed. Like I said, I need to do some more research on the bending techniques according to the show. So that's where I am on that. So yeah, revenge would probably be a good subplot in there as well. Revenge against Zuko for taking the throne away from her. Alright, so let me think here. Hold on. Since when does YouTube tell people to take breaks? I've never seen that before. Yeah, I did make mention of her actually starting her own Dark Guild with I've never had YouTube tell me to take a break from anything, so I guess that's new. Alright, so let's see here. I had one other fairy tale fanfic that I had been working on that's kind of been halted a little bit because mostly because I'm trying to figure out where to go with it and all that. And I don't even have a title for it because I have no idea what to call it. Let me see if I can find it on my list here. That's not it. Hold on. Yes, actually, I know Shaman King. Oh, Sharpie. What's up, man? Yes, Haley, I do know. I've heard of Shaman King. I actually did watch the English dub of it a couple years ago. The show it aired on didn't really finish it though, but I have heard of Shaman King for sure. I probably need to go back and see if I can find the anime show and watch that once again. Who knows? Maybe I might try something with it. Let me see.
Well, that's a matter of opinion, Haley, but we won't go into that here. Oh, gosh. I got so many listed on here that it's hard for me to find the one that I'm looking for. Oh, okay. I think I found it. Okay. Alright. So this particular fairy tale fic that I have come up with, it's going to feature some of the main girls from the Fairy Tale Guild. It'll be Lucy, it'll be Juvia, it'll be Levi, it'll be Kana, and Urza. Let's see, who else did I include? Let's see, hold on. I'm trying to make sure I list off everybody I need. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so it'll be Lucy, Juvia, Urza, Levi, and Kana. So I've come up with a little job for those ladies to do, and it's heavily influenced from the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring movie. There's going to be some elements tied into that a little bit, but it's not going to be like a direct follow through on that. It's going to take some elements from the movie and or the book, depending on how you want to look at it. I'm mostly drawing it from the movie for this one, and just trying to take the time to kind of So that's basically the idea, and Gray and Natsu and Gajeel try to tag along, and Jalal gets in there at some point. It's just, yeah, trying to figure out what elements to use and how far to go with it, just I probably do need to watch the movie again just to kind of get inspiration again for how it's supposed to go. And there'll be a lot of stuff between Nalu and Gruvia and Gajevi and all that kind of stuff, and Jalurza mixed in there as well. So sorry, Kana's gonna have to be kind of left out in that little regard because honestly, I don't even know who Kana's supposed to be shipped with anymore. I've seen her shipped with Laxus and Bacchus and all those other people. So yeah, I'd rather just not deal with that, No, I understand. I like Gajevi is a cute ship too. I enjoy that. So yeah, there's that. Okay. Of course, I do have a bunch of Miraculous Ladybug fanfics that I've started that haven't been finished or are finished but haven't uploaded yet. Because particularly the latest one I just recently finished writing was Valentine's Day, was a Valentine's Day themed one. So be looking out for that on Valentine's Day to be uploaded for sure. Excuse me. So let's see. I'll probably run over a few more minutes just to make up for the late start at the beginning, because I was trying to figure out how this thing works and all that stuff. So okay. All right. So all right. So let's see here. There is one miraculous ladybug story that I've been working on, and I think I hope it's different enough, because well, let me read you the tagline that I've got here. All right, see what you guys think. See what you guys think of this. She's a galactic princess. He is a fashion model from Paris. With not just Earth in danger, but the entire universe in jeopardy, the Ladybug and Chat Noir have to work together to save it. If only the cat can figure out how the suit works. Well, maybe not Voltron per se. All right, let me well, let me read a little bit of something from there. So let's see. Well, maybe a little Star Wars. I'm not entirely sure. Let me see here. Let me find a good excerpt to read for you guys to see how you feel about it. Okay. All right, let's try this. Stupid Akumas, Alia snarled. Akumas, Hawkmoth's minions, were dark purple humanoid beings with white butterfly masks. They were aggressive and fierce fighters and liked to fight in large groups. Volpina! Cried Marinette. Volpina created holograms of herself to confuse the Akumas and give herself some relief to speak with Marinette. Girl, there's too many of them. Keep them distracted while I secure the other miraculous. Marinette tapped her earrings. Spots on! A bright beam came from the earrings, and Marinette's clothes were replaced by her own armored bodysuit. Hers was red and had black spots. She wore reinforced black boots to help her run and jump. She had a black chest plate with a bright red circle in the center and 5 black spots. Her red gauntlets helped increase her strength. A red and black spotted helmet formed from her earrings and allowed her raven black hair to flow free. The visor allowed her to keep visual track of everything she saw, to how thick the walls were and what they were made of, as well as the stability of the terrain and people in her sights. Her weapon looked like an ordinary yo-yo, but it had an unlimited string that she used to grapple, and it also formed into any type of weapon she needed by using the code word Lucky Charm. Her suit was built with an AI called Tiki, who served as a guide to Marinette while in the suit. Hello, Marinette, the computer said in a female voice. Hi, Tiki, we've got trouble. Hawkmoth is after the jewels. Oh dear, I shall initiate fighting protocols then.
So I have that planned. Maybe, but not quite as bulky. Let's see. Let me go ahead and skip ahead to where something that I think between Nino and Adrian. So let's see. Okay, just kind of set this up. This is obviously going to be an AU type. So, and Adrian's still a model, of course, for his dad, and Nino's there as a personal assistant / friend or whatever. So so where we're starting off here is after a long photo shoot for Adrian and Nino. Dude, I don't know what Henri's problem was today, but he seriously needed to chill, said Nino. Well, the designer was pretty vague on what it was trying to be. The way the clothes came together didn't seem to flow, said Adrian. Still, he's one of the best photographers in the business. I thought he could make anything work. Guess he didn't have the magics. Have you been watching MLP again? Hey, it's a great show. You and your cartoons, man. This is why you don't have a girlfriend. Don't start that. I get enough of that from my father, and I don't need it from you, whined Adrian. Well, if you went out like a normal person and met people, that would be different, said Nino. You know I'm not into that scene. The only girls who are there are looking for a hookup or shallow gold diggers. Fine, I'll give you that one. But you gotta get out at least a few nights, not hold up in your apartment with Netflix. While the two men continued their discussion of their favorite shows, Adrian looked up and saw something shoot across the sky. Hey look, a shooting star, he cried. Don't tell me you made a wish. Don't tell me you made a wish, chided Nino. Adrian did. He wished for some excitement in his life and that the girl for him would appear. The sky had a few glittering stars overhead. Hey Nino, you think there's life on other planets? Why do you care? You barely have any life on this one. Yeah, I mentioned it, MLP. My headcanon is that Adrian's a closet brownie. Yeah, you're right, Sharper. I just haven't had the chance to really put anything. KP stands for Kim Possible. Well, I don't know. I don't know who he consider. I don't know if he would. I don't know if he would consider that wearing that or not. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. So I did write a. Yeah, so I did write a crossover with Kim Possible and Monica's Ladybug a while ago. I'm sure you guys here already know about that already. So, and I am planning writing a sequel to that. I just haven't had a chance to really set down and put anything to it. I think what I'm trying to do right now is I wanted to get my two of my running stories, Rivals and Oasis, finished up before I start uploading anything. So yeah, once I finish Rivals and Oasis, I'll be uploading some new ones for sure. Let's see. All right. All right. So we've gone past. So we've already hit past an hour already. like I said, we'll try to go a little longer to. Well, I'm glad you are. I've noticed that Oasis hasn't been getting that much attention, to be quite honest. Doesn't seem like a lot of people are reading that one. I guess people just kind of replaced Free with the Yuri on Ice stuff. So, I don't know. Okay, so does anybody have any other kind of questions they want to ask in general about writing and stuff like that? I know Haley and Jen has asked a bunch before. Yes, I just wanted to give anybody who was new a chance to ask something or get it or wanted some advice. What do you mean by that, Haley? What do you mean by going too far? Well, let me think here. Well, I guess it depends on what that is, you know? Something we'll regret it later or one idea too much. Well, I guess it depends on what that is, you know, and what you consider your definition of going too far would be, you know. I mean, that's why I would say when you do post something of what you're writing, you definitely need to be absolutely sure that you're satisfied with what it is you've put up, you know, and just kind of let other people be the judge of whether or not it went too far. If there's enough people saying you should try saying it this way or something, listen to what they have to say, and if you agree with it, make the necessary changes, you know. So I don't know. I don't think I've ever done that before, or at least not that I could think of, to be quite honest, you know, because like I said, it depends on your definition of what going too far is, and what context it's in, you know. So I don't know. It's definitely a subject. I think it's a little more definitely a. Sorry, I can't talk. A subjective definition, in my opinion. So I guess what really might help is you have someone to kind of look over it first. If you're not too sure, have someone else that you know and trust will give you an honest opinion on what it is you wrote and see what they think. I mean, that'd be the best thing I could do if you're not completely 100% sure about it.
Yeah, and definitely I would recommend anybody who's writing to just kind of have someone who's just kind of help you bounce off ideas with, to give you any extra feedback if you're not comfortable with what it is you're writing. You know, kind of help you catch some little errors or mistakes. You know, yeah, have a beta if you can. You know, it just depends on the person. You know. Anybody have anything else they wanted to ask? What if some characters don't interact well with each other in writing? Well, are you saying as far as personality wise, are they not getting along, or you're just having a hard time writing them together? Is that what you're talking about, Jen? Okay. Well, definitely when you're writing with characters, I can't stress enough how important it is to really understand the character as best you can. You know, like it's just one of those things where I know a lot of people are always worried about writing a character that's OOC, you know, sometimes, and I always worry about that too, especially if it's a character I'm not completely familiar with myself. If they're from a show or a movie or anything that I'm not too completely familiar with, I always try my best to at least do a little research on the characters to kind of get an idea of who they are, and or even read other people's fanfics with that character, just kind of see how they wrote them, you know, kind of see how they did it, you know, just kind of go based off of that. So it's just, if you want two characters to get along, write two characters that you know would get along, and the ones that wouldn't, write them accordingly, you know. Well, sure, everyone always has their own character interpretations all the time. It's just when you're using characters that have already been pre-established in their main medium, in my personal opinion, I think it's always important to try to keep their characteristics as close to the as you would think the creator from the show would, you know. And I mean, everyone has their own headcanons and stuff like that, but I would like to think that headcanons, when you think of headcanons, it should make sense with the character, you know. It should go along with who the character you think it would go with. Balance between the story and shipping. Well, a lot of times it's just
Okay. Well, I've said before that if it fits and helps the story flow very well, I think it's fine. You know, I mean, sure, there may be times where you want to devote a little snippet here and there to the quote unquote shipping part. You know. Yeah, it can be pretty easy to kind of leave it that way, you know. I guess having a beta like Haley said could probably help you see if that's taking over a storyline, you know. Unless you're specifically writing a romantic type story, you know, where it's all about the shipping, you know, then that's one thing. But if you're just writing a general story but you have multiple elements within there, including romance, but that's not your main focus, but you still want to include it, you just have to know how much to include and what not to include, you know. Like I said, if it fits within the overall, well, true, yes, every romance story should just have good plot, unless you're specifically writing to say, hey, unless you're specifically saying that there's no plot, it's just whatever, you know. But yeah, but don't write a story saying that there's plot when there is none, because I think that's what turns off people a lot, is when you say your story has plot but when there really isn't, you know. At least be honest with yourself on that. Alright. We'll go for a few more minutes and then we'll end it for today. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this many people, you know. I mean, I was hoping for a little more, but you know, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I thought I advertised myself pretty well. I don't know. So, but anyway, anybody else have any other questions they want to ask? Okay. Well, nobody else has anything else they wanted to ask about for the time being. Let me see if I can find one over here. Where is that? Let me see here. Let's see, hold on. Oh, here it is. This is just something that I wrote down because I thought it sounded interesting and sounded neat, and I don't know. Maybe I might expand more on this. Who knows? But let me see what you guys think real quick, and then we'll. Oh wait, Haley. Let me see what you got here first. Okay, when you're planning your stories, basic thing and all little details already. How do you know that you already plotted enough let's see here. Okay. All right. Just like there's like having no plot, there's also too much plot. So you have to determine you definitely need to figure out what it is you're basically trying to say. You know, I mean, and just try to stick to that one branch you've already got. Yeah, there might be a few little branches here and there, but they still tie in together to the main branch of what it is you're trying to tell. So you definitely don't want to overdo it when you're thinking about your plot. So you just have to just keep your basic idea in mind for sure, and then be willing to branch off a little bit, but always try to make sure you come back to the main point. So that way it'll still all tie together, you know. So that way but it's still not so completely out of left field. Whenever you do little branches, you know, as long as you can manage to tie everything to the main point, that's what's important, you know. It depends on how many you want to include. I mean, it's hard to say how many is too much, how many is just right, how many is not enough, you know. I think it just really depends on what it is you're trying to accomplish with the story, you know. Like, I will say this, there's I think here for the Art of the Bending story that I've got. There's probably going to be at least two main plots or two plots within it, you know. There's of course there will be the mages learning how to bend, and of course there'll be what's happening behind the scenes, you know, while they're bending, you know, like what's going on with the enemy, what it is they're planning to do, and all that kind of stuff. So it's basically trying to, and of course there'll be other little things going on here and there, you know, within that. So you just kind of have to try to figure out how to balance each other out, you know, make sure it still all ties together to the main plot point, really. I think that's what's important to try to do is if what you have can all tie together to the main plot in the end. All right, so we'll close this out with this little thing that, like I said, I wrote this. It popped into my head at some point. I don't even remember when. I don't know how long ago. Let me see. Hold on. See, according to this, I think I've worked at the last date edit on this was October 5th of 2016, and basically it says this: in this world there lies a balance, yin and yang, light and dark, good and evil. You have been given a tremendous power. What you do with it is entirely up to you. One thing you have to ask yourself is this: have you made the right choice? So I guess that would be a good
hooking for something. I haven't figured out what that is yet. I just thought it sounded interesting and cool in my head, and I wanted to write it down. So, I don't know. Would that be something you would think that would be good along the lines of the Miraculous Ladybug franchise, or what? I don't know. Yeah. So what that would look like, I'm not entirely sure right now. Yeah, it would. I just need to figure out how to glean something off of this seed, you know. How to figure out how this sort of little thing could bloom into something. Just have to take the time to figure that out. All right. So, all right, I guess we'll go ahead and call it here. I don't know. I mean, this is the first time doing it. This is my first time trying to. This is my first time. So this is my first time doing it. I don't know. Maybe I might do this again. I don't know. I mean, I'm grateful for the 4 people that have joined us, that have joined in for this. And so I don't know. I mean, maybe if this happens again, maybe more people show up. I have no idea. So, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this here for today. I want to thank you guys for coming and for participating. I hope what I said has helped you guys in the long run. And just know that if you need anything extra beyond this, you guys know where to find me on DeviantArt and stuff like that. So I appreciate everything. I don't know if I am the 4th person. I mean, I have my I only have the analytics page for this open. So I'm not really looking at it anywhere. I don't think I'm looking at it anywhere else. So anyway, alright, so I guess we'll end it here, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys!